By request, it is time to look at Dinomists again, and see how they function under link rules. Some have argued that with the arrival of Mistar Boy, the problems created under link rules of only being able to pendulum summon a single monster from the extra deck without link monsters creating those additional link markers have been circumvented. Unfortunately, that mindset is inaccurate, in my opinion, based on the resources required to place Mistar Boy on the field in the first place. However, despite this overexuberance towards the proficiency and usefulness of Mistar Boy, Dinomist is still the second best pendulum deck in the game, thanks to all of the tricks it has, both in its monster effects and in its spell and trap card effects. So let's look at my current Dinomist deck. Looking at the Dinomist monster lineup, the number of copies of Spinos is at 2 versus 3 because with less pendulum summoning swarming reliability, its ability to activate both of its effects during the same turn has declined dramatically. I run a large number of Dinomist monsters, 20 total, to ensure strong pendulum playmaking. Stegosaur makes an appearance as a scale 3 level 4 monster with its destruction effect. That's not bad, but certainly could have been better. More or less, he's there just because he's a level 4 scale 3 body. I run 2 copies of Gameciel for 2 reasons: removal of Masterpiece, which can be annoying for this deck, and as discard fodder for the newly added Frog Hybrid. With that, the biggest change is the addition of the Frog Engine in 3 swap, 2 dupe, and a Ronintoadin, in contrast to the Ghost Ogre, Hand Traps, Plague Spreader, and Hamster I ran previously. This change is in direct response to the link rules and the lack of pendulum swarming power. The reason the link rules hurt pendulums so much is rather obvious. The trade-off of pendulums was the utilization of immediate resources for later and in some respects continuous payoff through the summons from the extra deck. The problem now is that benefit has been heavily diminished in most decks unless one runs certain cards in a certain way, but those cards frequently conflict with archetype themes of most pendulum decks, including Dinomists. Thus, in my experience, the Frog Engine provides additional playmaking support when certain support cards are not available. With almost all of the monsters in this deck having the water attribute, the special summoning capacity of Swap Frogs to jumpstart Toadally Awesome summoning is rather straightforward. With a reduced pendulum efficiency, the discards of pendulums to the graveyard is not as big of a deal as it once was. Also, with the special summoning ability of Swap and Ronin, you significantly increase the probability of summoning a Mistar Boy or another link monster of your choosing to set up more efficient pendulum summoning. Overall, at this current point in time, it seems like running the Frog Engine Dinomist just makes a lot of sense. Finally, rounding out the monsters, I run the 1 allowable copy of Maxx and 1 copy of Eater of Millions, for again, there are definitely some extra deck monsters that can be purged for its summons, and it does do some impressive lifting, especially during the mid-game. For the spells, there are no real surprises: 1 Raigeki, 1 Soul Charge due to the extra deck playmaking, and Swap Frog discards, 1 Upstart, and 3 Charge. I do not like Power Load in the main deck because there are not enough decks where the no damage step effect neutralization aspect is meaningful. Also, Power Load has lost a significant aspect of usefulness due to the lack of swarming from pendulum summoning and the manipulation of Plesios' attack reduction effect. Basically, even with the plus 300 attack from Power Load, it's harder to hit over monsters now than before Link showed up. And realistically, that's all Power Load's designed to do, is just to help you hit over monsters and neutralize any type of pluses or further obstacles the opponent can provide when you do so. However, in Link format, Power Load in my mind has just become more of a I'm dead more often than I'm helpful card, so I don't run it. For the traps, I run 3 copies of Dinomist Howling. I will never understand anyone who runs Howling at less than 3 copies because it does not have a hard once per turn on its bounce effect, so drawing multiples is not really a bad thing, and 1 copy of Torrential Tribute. The nature of this deck design is to have Howling, Toadally Awesome, a large-scale pendulum summons with Mistar Boy, or Cyber Dragon Infinity at the ready at pretty much all times, so various playmaking is available to counter whatever the opponent is do. Some other possible options for the deck beyond the standard hand traps that I choose not to run are Instant Fusion. It provides a quick water monster to help extra deck playmaking, including Mistar Boy. Those who want to retain the single or multiple copies of Plague Spreader Zombie, Instant Fusion also helps you go into a quick level 8 synchro. Pot of Riches, due to the discarding aspect of this deck, so you can collect from both the graveyard or the extra deck. But unfortunately, the one thing that really did kill the functionality of Pot of Riches is the lack of being able to special summon any way beyond Pendulum Summoning during the turn you activate the effect, and that's what holds it back for me. Finally, under Link System rules, Pendulum Switches become an interesting option, providing an additional means to create board presence and summon Mistar Boy or another Link monster to set up more efficient Pendulum Summoning. Overall, while these choices are valid, they just don't work for me. Some viewers may wonder, what about Wavering Eyes? It's off the ban list. Pretty much every Pendulum deck likes running Wavering Eyes, right? Not so fast, in my opinion. Here's the problem with Wavering Eyes. Before Link Summoning, Wavering Eyes was great in every Pendulum deck. Hey, just feed your extra deck, get any Pendulum card from your deck, set up your Pendulum Scale again, you get almost 2 free summons. In addition to doing some 500 damage to the opponent, plus some additional fun bonus effects if your opponent was running Pendulum. Now, however, we must also remember that what got Wavering Eyes banned in the first place. While this was a power play, the biggest advantage of Wavering Eyes was all the bonus effects you'd get off of destroying the Pendulum monsters in the Pendulum Zone that Wavering Eyes destroyed. Cards like Plushfire, Arenadas, and why it's doing so well in Pendulum Magicians now when you're destroying all these second generation Pendulum Magicians to get these bonus effects. Without the ability to spam Pendulum Summoning 3 to 5 monsters at the drop of a hat anymore, if you don't have a deck that gets these bonus effects, Wavering Eyes isn't really that useful. This lack of utility and usefulness is demonstrated in Dinomist, because the simple fact is, Dinomists don't also have a card that is this game-breaking, I gotta have that card either. Again, another advantage of Wavering Eyes was when it was seen run in Performapals, what would Performapals get? They'd grab Kieran. They'd grab Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer. They'd grab Monkey Board. There was a lot of, these are really valuable, versatile cards. Wavering Eyes gives me almost immediate access to. You don't have that in Dinomist. Okay, I activate this, destroying 2 Dinomists from my Pendulum Zone, which I kind of don't want to do anyways, because I want Dinomist in my Pendulum Zone, not only for Pendulum Summoning, but also for their protection effects. What am I going to look for? There's no, oh my gosh, I need to have that card right now for Dinomist, especially giving up 2 Dinomist Pendulum monsters to get. I mean, while Rex, in my opinion, is the best Dinomist monster, it's not game-breaking. It's not something I'm willing to sacrifice what I have to sacrifice through Wavering Eyes to get into my hand. So overall, I just don't think Wavering Eyes works in a lot of Pendulum decks now, unless you're getting those, hey, I destroy these Pendulum monsters in my Pendulum Zone and activate their special effects as well. I will note that citing Wavering Eyes is always an interesting idea, because you're going to face off against those Pendulum Magician decks, and you want to have your own Wavering Eyes to chain to their Wavering Eyes to strip their Wavering Eyes from getting their effects. So at least you're only giving them the bonus effects of the destroyed Pendulum monsters, rather than them getting the effects off their own Wavering Eyes. But as a main deck option, Wavering Eyes just doesn't work very effectively. For the extra deck, I run 1 Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger, 1 number 61 Volcasaurus, 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity, 1 Cyber Dragon Nova, 1 number 37 Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark, 1 number 103 Ragna 0, 1 Castel the Skyblaster Musketeer, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Gagaga Cowboy, because Cowboy, I think, in a sense, is almost coming back, because there are times with this deck where you're going to hit your opponent hard, but they're going to be sitting hanging on at 600. If you got 2 level 4s, Cowboy's a nice choice. 3 Toadally Awesome. You can get by with 2 Toadally Awesome, but 3 is definitely preferred if you have the ability to acquire them. 1 Sky Cavalry Centaurea. Sometimes Toadally Awesome isn't the choice. Sometimes you need that bounce. And 2 Mistar Boy. 3 definitely works, but I've never used more than 2. Despite the loss of the Blanket Mass Pendulum summoning ability, Dinomist is still at its core a control deck, but a control deck that can be explosive and versatile in its attack. I view Mistar Boy as an alternative strategy in the deck, not the chief strategy to revive Pendulum efficiency and allow Dinomist to just constantly throw down 3 to 5 monsters and dominate with multiple link monsters. I think if that's your focus, you're probably going to see less success than you would otherwise. Because the thing with Dinomist is you have a variety of options. You have nice bounce and howling, card return and charge, multiple negation avenues in both Toadally Awesome and Cyber Dragon Infinity, in addition to that general swarming that you can produce with Mistar Boy. Well, that's my Dinomist deck. Thank you for your attention and your time. I'm out.